I'm going to show you one of my favorite tools that I always turn to when I'm doing academic writing, and in particular when I'm doing my literature review. It's called Google Scholar. The way that you access it is simple. You can either go to your Google search engine and type in the word scholar, and it should be the first result. And here you see the address scholar.google.com. So what you can also do is type in scholar.google.com up in the address bar. What's so nice about Google Scholar versus using just the search engine Google is that when you're writing academic work, and especially when you're first starting out, your search results will be of scholarly work. And so it will minimize the confusion as to whether you're going to be able to use those sources for your work. So as an example, just to show you how Google Scholar works, I'm going to type in a book that we've read in our Community Black Studies Research Seminar on Addiction. It's Gabor Mate's In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts. And here you see, Google Scholar has brought it up as the very first result. It gives you the name of the book, the author, the year it was published, and the site that clicking on this link will take you to, which is in this case, Google Books. We'll look at that in just a little bit. You'll notice that the second result is also In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts by the same author, except this is the Canadian edition, which was published first in 2008. For our purposes, we're just going to look at the version that we read, which is the US version. And I want to show you a couple of things from this result. Here you see this cited by 290, and it's a link. What this takes you to is a list of 290 other scholarly works that have cited this specific book. You also see here related articles, which if you click on them, what you'll get are results that Google Scholar thinks are related to this work, and even if they may not cite that work specifically, it could be very useful for you because the topic is related. So let's click on related articles, and you'll see several books here that may or may not have cited Gabor Mate's work. All scholarly works. If we go back and click on Cited By, it's going to take you to a list of other scholarly works that specifically cite that text. And that's what we want to do when we're doing a literature review, is see what the conversation is like. Who agrees with that author and who disagrees, and why? Why do they agree? Why do they disagree? In building your literature review, basically you're going to be guiding the reader over what the arguments and the debates are. So in this result, The Globalization of Addiction, we see the author once again, the year, and the site, books.google.com. So let's click on it and we'll see what Google Books looks like. Google Books is a repository of books that Google has scanned. They number over 100 million already. And they don't give you all of the book, but they give you snippets of it, largely like the table of contents, which you can see here. And you also get parts of the introduction quite often, which is really helpful so that you can get an idea of what these books are about without you having to go to the library or having to, of course, purchase them. What's also really powerful about Google Books is this search box right here. We can search within this book. And what I want to do, just as an example, is to see when this book directly references Gabor Mate. So I'm going to type in Gabor Mate and I'm going to click go. And you'll see here no results found in this book for Gabor Mate. And I'm suspicious that the reason why that's so is because Gabor Mate's name has an accent on that last E. So I'm going to add that accented E, click go, and there we go. Now we have 4 results for Gabor Mate. And you can see here on this first one, his name is highlighted, making it really easy to find. I see that he's cited on a footnote 95. If I go back to view all, I'll go to another result where he's cited once again, but here we see this says no preview available for this page. So if I click on it, nothing happens. It's important to note also that in academic writing convention, a lot of the time it's just the last name that's used when citing a scholarly work. So while Gabor Mate's full name is referenced quite often, a lot of the time it's convention to only reference the last name once the full name has already been written out. So I'm going to remove Gabor and just do Mate. And see, here we have several results where here we have just Mate G and just Mate. And that's really important because I don't want to miss all of the instances that Mate might appear in. So that's Google Books. Now we'll go back to our Google Scholar results page. Now we've already looked at this book that looks really interesting and I might want to check it out for my literature review. Here, this second result I can tell is a journal article, and I can tell that because this, for one, word book does not appear in front of it, and then also it looks like this could be the journal article, the journal name. This is the journal article name, Internet Addiction, a brief summary of research and practice. Here we have the authors, what looks to be the journal name, the year of publication, and the website where it will take me to if I click. So let me click. So here we go. It looks like the journal is called Current Psychiatry Reviews. This looks like a journal that reviews the literature out there, so that can be really helpful because it might give me an overview of what the research is right now on the question of internet addiction, if that's what I'm interested in. So you'll see here the authors and the publication date and the abstract, which is really helpful. There's also a download button here, which is a real treat because when it comes to academic journals, sadly, most of them are not freely accessible. They need to be paid for, there needs to be a subscription to them, you need to be at school, your school needs to have subscribed to that journal. There's so many hurdles, but this is really nice because this here is available. So here it is. Here is the journal article, that abstract that we saw, the introduction, and then if you just keep going, you can skim it. And like we did with Google Scholar, you can do a search for Gabor Mate and see how this article engages his work. So we'll click out of there and we'll go back to our Google Scholar search results because I want to show you something else. In this case, we were able to access this journal article freely. And if I would have clicked here where it says PDF, it would have taken me directly to it. Going back, this link here is a clue that this is freely available. So if I go down here, the third result is another very popular book called Chasing the Scream, and I can tell that it's a book by this word here, but also because it takes me to Google Books. This fourth result also has a PDF that's available, as do the rest of these. So that's excellent. But I want to show you an example of when that PDF is not available. So I'm going to click Next, and I can see that in this second results page here, this article does not have over on the right side an HTML or PDF link, and so I'm suspicious that this is not going to be a freely available journal article for me where I'm at right now. And I'm working at home, I'm not at a university library. So let's take a look. So here we go. In this journal article, we have the abstract. You read the abstract, see if it's interesting, but also because I know it's related to Gabor Mate's work, I want to see how it specifically discusses his work. So I want to click on the full article to be able to download it, but you see that instead the website sends me over here to either log in or to purchase the article. And you can see how expensive it would be for me to purchase it. It is 24-hour access for $42.50. So I'm not going to be able to access it because I'm not going to do that. However, I will show you in another video how you might be able to check to see if your university has access to this journal, and also other ways that you may be able to access them. But let's go back to our Google Scholar results, and let's just do a different search now, and it doesn't have to be a book, because another thing that you can do with Google Scholar is just do keyword searches such as addiction. Now the literature is so vast on addiction. There's over 1,700,000 results here. And so I might want to do addiction and race, which will give me 393,000 results. And so that might be getting closer to what I'm interested in. Also, maybe I can try, instead of race, white supremacy. There's some works there on white addiction, more on sexual addiction, and maybe I want to use a different keyword. Instead of white supremacy, I can also use African American, and I can also use black. This is interesting because black seems to be the last name of a writer who does a lot of work on addiction. It's not giving me very much on black people, except here. Now we have one. If we go a little bit down, we have some. So as you grow into a scholar and into a writer, you'll be able to see what words can be interchangeable. Here we had race, white supremacy, black, African American. And that got me closer to looking at the question of addiction and race, as we're doing with our research seminar on the question of addiction in Black communities. So there's Google Scholar. I hope that you enjoy using it as much as I do. It's especially really helpful and really fun when you don't really know what's out there, and it sends you into this really fun rabbit hole where you can spend many, many hours just looking at all of the wonderful stuff that's been written. And then that way what you do is you collect the stuff that you find to be relevant and then put it in narrative form for us so that we can see what the debates are right now, what's been written, and where there might be a gap that you can fill in the future.